in the cattle corridor from 1989. These people here in the cattle corridor were outside the money economy. But when I made the calculation, I thought they could move into the milk and make money out of it, modernize the traditional pastoralism into commercial. And from 89, they started acquiring these Frisian cows, and they quickly produced a lot of milk. Now, because the volumes were big, the price started going down, because the final product was only the liquid milk, the only product sellable. So I was looking for how to broaden the milk products. Instead of just liquid milk, produce liquid milk which is long life, because it was liquid milk but also short life, 2 days, 3 days. So I had to look for investors to have liquid milk, long life, have people to produce powdered milk, have people to produce cheese, butter, all that. Now I got a group, Murwana, introduced me to a group in Thailand who could come and do that. And we had the government small dairy factory at Bugorovi called Uganda Dairy Corporation. It was producing only 20,000 liters a day. So this man wanted to upgrade it to process more milk into more products. Now we leased him the government factory at $1 symbolic, just free. My daughter, Margaret Muhanga, was in one of the papers. She put a headline, government sells Uganda Dairy Corporation for $1. It was headline. Then they started attacking the government. Now, the other man, the one who had agreed to invest, has a board in Bangkok. They saw this, because he's the one who was telling about Uganda. They didn't know. Murwana is the one who had brought him to me. For them, they didn't know Uganda. It is him who was telling them, Uganda is good, I'm going there to invest. Now, I think the board members started taking interest, putting on the internet to know more about Uganda. They saw these stories. Say, where are you going here? Stop. The man stopped.
And take this training further down to local government so that they are sensitive to what we are doing. They exercise restraint. They communicate. These stories I mentioned, we are not trying to say New Vision or Monitor should not say that there is something bad in food. But the way you say it, where you place it, very dangerous. Because the Chinese recalled milk that had trouble, you never go to see it. Americans recalled Panadol, you never heard of that. But as we publicize everything inside our kitchen. The second, I think the third request is that if you allow us to do this training, we wanted that every 2 weeks, someone comes to cabinet and says, this is the state of our perception, how the world perceives us, every 2 weeks. Where are we hit? What should we do? And which departments are working hard, or where should we strengthen our effort? This can only be done, Mr. President, with your directive, with your input.
Every month, not every 2 weeks, every month.
This is fine. This is okay. Thank you, sir. And then in September, we want to bring a raft of some measures so that if we have done training, we have shown you what to do, we have spent time doing part of the research for you, but you still go and say things in a strange way, we think there should be some consequences. But we want to hold on to this so that...
But who are the one who initiate all this? Is it the newspapers or is it the government people?
So we are more concerned with what comes out of government. If I give you an example, we spent 48 hours a week trying to fulfill the requirements of AGOA 2 weeks ago so that we are brought back. One of the issues was child labor. That's why we had been terminated, apart from other things. We submitted in the night. The next day there was a story saying child labor on the increase in Uganda, quoting a minister.
Which minister?
Ministry of Labor and Gender. I'm giving them as an example. You find ministers speaking the way they want.
Yes.
And we think it is important to guide.
For the government people, they should not do that.
Thank you, sir. Now, finally, we think this committee needs to take some proactive action. There's a story bothering us now. Uganda supports M23. We know we don't. It's a report of the UN. We want to get quickly with our security into Congo, take our cameras, get our own people, tell an alternative story in the sectors we occupy. Bring international media to do that. I'm using them as an example. We need to get some... When we are organized, we want to come to you and ask for support on doing these things, because each of these departments has their own budget, has their own limitations. So we want your input when we are ready to do that, that you allow us to bring that to you.
This responsibility is very, very dangerous. It's very dangerous. So I totally agree that I will also issue a circular for the government people. But how about the newspapers? Like in this case, Margaret Mhanga was not in the government, she was in the paper that I don't know which paper she was working for. But they can also be told.
Government will do to handle social media, but part of what this combination of offices is going to do is create a more proactive approach to communicating government positions or Uganda-centric positions through social media and influencing all those people who act negatively. Because a lot of what happens on social media is, we'd even call it economic sabotage. But it's economic sabotage that is accidental on the part of especially our young people who do not understand what their communication does to this country's reputation and economy. But then there's also that one that is deliberate, which is linked to what you've said about a publication like Daily Monitor. So that proactive management will bring together all the government communicators, the people in charge of channeling government communication, and then, as Audrey has said, the engagement with the leaders on the other side. And I'm happy to report that already we've had engagements spearheaded by some of the offices here with the media, the media, social media influencers and actors, and even private sector players to ensure that we have that one common objective.
Yeah, if you have got